To me, now, the prequels are more like classic Star Wars than episodes 7 and 8.
Moto dork.
Well, another day, another dollar. My work day is over. Time to have some fun. Well, hopefully. Yep. Still a very beautiful day. Quite a bit warmer now than it was this morning. I think it's in the 60s. I haven't checked. It feels like it's in the 60s. You know, mid to high 60s. For me, that's pretty much perfect riding weather. Really couldn't get any better than that. So I'm feeling really good right now on the bike. Yeah. So what do you say we find some twisties and talk about stupid stuff? I think that's a great idea. I don't even know what to talk about. Don't have any idea what to talk about. Oh yes I do. Let's talk about Star Wars. So, you know, for me and my generation, the Star Wars movies don't really have subtitles. You know, it's just Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. That's it. It's not Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. It's not Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. And it's certainly not Star Wars, Star Wars. I mean, I understand in the graphic title of the movies, it does have Star Wars around Empire Strikes Back and around Return of the Jedi. But despite that, we still, you know, in the 80s, never referred to it as Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. And of course, if people want to call it that, that's fine. You can do that. I don't really have a problem with it. I'm just saying that it's just not something we do. We being my generation. And those approximate to my age. But for the longest time, I was diehard Star Wars fan. And I'm not saying I'm not a fan now. I'm still very much a fan. I mean, and I hate to admit this sometimes among certain groups of people, but I did camp out for Star Wars tickets when you know, the first of the prequels came out, Phantom Menace. When that came out, I did camp out. I camped out for 3 days. I got there 3 days early, and I was like, I don't know, 43rd in line or something like that. I mean, there was already a lot of people ahead of me. There was one guy who had been there for like a week before I had. He was number one, of course. He was at the beginning of the line. And then, like a week later, week and a half later, when I saw the movie, I was somewhat disappointed. But what I want to talk about today is, and I like to call this, a funny thing happened while rewatching the prequels. Because a funny thing did happen to me the last time I rewatched the prequel Star Wars movies. And it's funny because let me just put it like this. I'm not really much of a fan of the Phantom Menace. I'm just not. I mean, I accept it as Star Wars canon because George Lucas wrote it and directed it. I accept it. And it's tolerable for me. You know, the next one, Attack of the Clones, even more tolerable. Better than Phantom Menace. I like it more. You know, Revenge of the Sith, I love that movie. And I think what I'm saying here and my beliefs regarding these things are pretty common among Star Wars fans. Pretty common. You know, you'll have some differences. I understand that. I understand that. That's fine. But there were, for years after Revenge of the Sith, there was grumbling among Star Wars fans. Well, he put too many special effects in it. There was too much CGI. You know, it's like the CGI was the main character now, and we lost some story. And you know, people say what they want about Hayden Christensen. That's fine. I thought he was good. I thought he was fine. And you've got all these other things that people don't like about him. And then The Force Awakens comes out many years after Revenge of the Sith. And I just want to say, I feel like I'm doing really well right now remembering all these titles, because normally I have such a hard time remembering titles of movies. But I feel like I'm doing really well, and you guys should, like, be happy that I'm remembering these things. But then, you know, that movie came out, The Force Awakens. Sorry, dude, I forgot to give you the wave. So Force Awakens comes out, and it's like a re-emergence of Star Wars. Fans are just going crazy. You know, because it feels like Star Wars again. Because they really held back on the CGI. It was more character-driven. The story was starting out so good. Everybody wanted to know what was coming up next. You know, we've got some old characters coming back. It just feels good. It feels right. And then guess what happens? The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi came out. And let me just, before I say anything else, I know there is a massive herd of haters out there for, you know, The Last Jedi. I understand that. I've watched so many stupid videos of these people, and I've read so many things, you know, blog posts about it. And I get it. I kind of get what you're saying, because I have a lot of issues with the movie too. However, I will say that overall, in general, I like the movie. But yes, I can see glaring problems. I can see, you know, and again, if anyone hasn't watched this movie, and I don't know why in the world you wouldn't have, but I'm going to say some things, so spoiler alert, but some glaring problems. You know, 3/4 of the way through the second movie of the trilogy, Snoke is already dead. Like, the bad guy. He's dead already. And we still don't know a blessed thing about him. We don't know anything about him. Who is this guy? What was he doing? Where did he come from? Why was he training Kylo Ren? How did he meet Kylo Ren? How did all that happen? Who knows? And we'll probably never know. That's weird. Rey's parents. We supposedly already know about them. They're nobody. They're nobodies. At least that's what Kylo Ren said. And we all know that Sith like to lie. They're big on lying. So that could have just been him, you know, leading her astray from the truth. It's possible. But as far as we know right now, Kylo Ren has already let Rey in on her parents. They're nobodies. Which means she's a nobody. Who just happens to be Force sensitive. And then there was the hinting at the end of the movie that, you know, there are more Force sensitive people out there. You know, future possible Jedis out there. With the little kid in the broom. You know? Also, not a great deal of lightsaber work in either movie. So I get these things. I get it. And I came away from The Last Jedi kind of feeling, you know, like I'm separating myself from Star Wars. I was kind of feeling like, you know, these movies that at the beginning we thought was a reemergence of classic Star Wars, you know, movies and stories and characters, now suddenly feels like it's something, it has become something else that I don't understand. So there's that. And then one day I decided to watch all of the Star Wars prequels. I hadn't watched them in years. And I watched them after having seen the 2 new Star Wars movies, episodes 7 and 8. And a funny thing happened. Everything that I used to feel about Star Wars before 7 and 8, now, after 7 and 8, I don't feel like that at all. All those feelings I had, they don't exist anymore. I saw the prequels in a new light, and to me, now, the prequels are more like classic Star Wars than episodes 7 and 8. Because if you go back and you watch the prequels, we actually have Jedi. We actually have lightsabers. We actually have the Jedi Council. We have Yoda. We have Obi-Wan. We have, you know, real Star Wars bona fide action. And back then, I couldn't see past the CGI to see that these are real Star Wars movies. But now I do. We got Wookiees. All kinds of Wookiees. Tons of Wookiees. We got the whole Wookiee planet, Kashyyyk, in those movies. And the Wookiees are badass. I mean, I'm telling you. Those prequels, they're awesome. And that's my official word on it. They're awesome. And they are better than episodes 7 and 8. Even Phantom Menace, by God. Even Phantom Menace. So, but you know, don't take my word for it. Go watch them yourself. If you've already seen 7 and 8, and it's been a very long time since you've seen the prequels, go watch them. See what you think. You may actually agree with me. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You know what? Let me know. That's what comments are for. I got a comment section. You know, if you don't agree with me, let me know why. We'll talk about it. I'll listen to you. I won't judge. And if you agree with me, tell me why you agree with me. Maybe you've got different reasons. You know? I want to know. I'm getting hungry. I think I want to eat. I think I want some food. And I know exactly where to go. I'm going to go to a place that is mythical in this area. Yep. I'm going to have a delicious cheeseburger. That's what I'm going to have. I like cheeseburgers. They are usually delicious. Some of them aren't. Some people don't know how to make cheeseburgers. And they leave me wanting more. More better. I know I'm not supposed to say that. But sometimes burgers are so bad they make me talk like that. They make me talk in ways that I shouldn't be talking. That's what a lousy burger does. I think I'll stop. Yep, I think I'll do that. Looks like they got some trucks for sale over there. Anybody buying? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, that's fast enough. Well, I'm glad I put my smoked face shield in, because for the first time in about a week I can see the sun. Kind of forgotten what it looked like. I don't know if you guys know this, but that's actually a star. Yep. A very close one. It's very close to us, that star is. That's why it's so hot. The ones that are really, really far away, they're not hot to us. I mean, they're hot. If you were close to those stars, they would be hot just like this one. Well, most of them would be. But that one is so close that it's hot. Depending on which angle it's hitting the earth, you know, I suppose. Oh, I'm getting so close. I'm getting close. I'm getting close to the place of burgers, which is known as Burger House. It's the house of burgers. Yes, indeed. And this is where we say goodbye while I eat my delicious burger. Goodbye.